Again, there's M first. Make no mistake. M Hunt is first. Can one of you pop over to the other stream and tell those people that we are here? You know, sometimes, well, the good news is it's Wednesday, so this is bonus footage anyway, right? So, yeah, that was always fun. The big red button. And I'm not bad-mouthing them, people. It might sound like I am, but I'm not. I truthfully am not mad at the big red button right now because these things happen. But could somebody pop over to the other feed and tell everybody that we're here so that everybody has an opportunity to actually watch this thing? That might be nice. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see here. We got Pagan, Brandon Taylor, M. Hunt, Conky Donk, good to see you, Miss V. Stacy Michaels, Dennis N. Stacy Michaels. Well, there we go, right about there. That was a gift from Stacy Michaels, and it is, I can't think of anything more appropriate for the lifeboat than something that says now. Honestly, to me, that is just absolutely essential. You know, we had about 21 people. 22 we had. We had 22 people, which is unfortunate because, you know, we still have 18 apparently over on the other side. So, but that's one of those things that does happen, and you know, sadly, you lose all the people that hit thumbs up. You lose a lot of the people that were there, and it's frustrating. But you know what? You got no control over it, so it falls into that 5% that I quite simply cannot control. All I can control is whether or not I thrash Squirrel unmercifully. I would never take it out on Squirrel, I'm just kidding. Or throw anything with a plug and a microchip as far as I can. That I'm more likely to do. But I'm not going to do that either. So, people, I've been telling you how bad things are, right? This is Wednesday, so we're a little off script. But I've been telling you, you know, we've been on a bad run. You know, they lost that watch, and by the time they found it, I had dumped a bunch of stuff at a price I didn't want to sell it at, right? The nature of the beast. It happens. There's nothing you can do about it. You just sort of have to bite the bullet, and you know that's part of the watch game. And if you're new to the lifeboat, the watch game is currently what I do. You know, that is the nature of what I do. It is my formal occupation, and because of that, you know, when one of those things happen, it becomes difficult to basically endure it. But I'm here to tell you, people, that if you keep your head above water, right, then the next thing you know, good things happen. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So yesterday I went down to another city to go pick up, actually to drop off a watch I had repaired, a Bulova Accutron, and the guy that I was dropping it off to is really a solid guy. He buys gold. So all the time, every time you hear me say I'm going to sell gold, I'm selling it to this guy, and he's the most honest dude you will ever meet. Like, you go down and you're selling bulk silver to the guy, and he'll go, "Hey, you know what? This one's platinum." He's just one of those people that goes out of his way. Hey, good to see you, Johnny. He's one of those people that goes out of his way to just be honest. So yesterday, he said, "I got a bunch of watches down here that somebody dropped off. They were melting all of the precious metal," which hurts me. I hate it when people melt watches, you know, just to get the gold out of it. But I went down and the unbelievable pile of watches. I mean, mostly pocket watches, and a ton of them. Brandon Taylor, same price as my new notebook. Journaling, make it happen. Proud of you, brother. So I drive down there, and he pulls out all these watches, and they keep coming. It's almost like a cartoon, right? He's putting one pocket watch after another up there, and there was probably 35 or 40 of them, right, that were in cases and ready to go. And there was probably another 20 that were just movements where the watch had already been melted. And in there were a group of minute repeaters. If you know anything about watches, back in the day, they had to light a match to see what time it was. You know, there was no electric lights. So to find out what time it was on your watch, or if you couldn't see, period, there were, you know, blind folks that There was no ability to be able to tell the time. So they came up with this thing called the minute repeater. And you pull a lever on the side of the pocket watch, and basically it chimes out what time it is. Right? So, and it does this through a series of different kind of tones, high and low, but you listen to it, and in a matter of about 5 seconds, it's going to tell you what time it is with gongs. And it is the most complicated thing that you can do in mechanical watches. The fact that they built these things, and many of them before there was electricity, is just fascinating stuff. And you don't see them. They're very, very rare. So I go down there, and there's 5 5-minute repeater pocket watch movements in this. Now, hey, Mark Wages, good to see you. Glad that you're here, bud. He says, I can't stay, but I love you all. By the way, the big red button is going up and down worldwide. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are all having issues. Captain Tommy didn't mess up. It's worldwide. You know what? I would not be surprised if I messed it up worldwide. You know what I mean? Definitely not my strong suit, but good to see you. Love it when Mark stops in. Take care of yourself, buddy. So 5-minute repeater movements in here. And I'm going through and I'm looking at these things, and I said, the vast majority of these do not run. Now, to tell you whether or not I'm going to be able to make it run, I got to take the thing apart, take a pair of tweezers, check the balance wheel, all kinds of stuff that I didn't have time to do. And I said to the guy, you know what? I would need these things for a long time to be able to answer whether or not these things, can be repaired. And his response was, tell you what, the ones that aren't running, buy them for what scrap would go for. What would a scrap pocket watch movement that's not running go for? And the other ones, hey, Dubious Maximus, good to see you. And I'm glad he popped in too. I really am. It's always nice when Mark stops in. Excuse me? I cannot get you. People, I just got a text from someone that said that they cannot get me. The vast majority of people, I think, can. Share the stream, everyone. Get everyone back here. You know what? I like what Mark said. Share the stream. Sometimes when people leave, they come back and they're looking for it. You got to hit the refresh button, right? You got to do all of these things to see the next feed. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't, and it's a sad thing because you do lose people, but because they have to leave and then come back. If not, all they're going to see is the last one, right? And the way it'll appear is obviously one right over the top of the other one. But it is what it is. All we can do is play the game. Shalom to you too, my friend. So he says buy them for what the scrap is, right? So you're looking at like $25 for a watch that doesn't run for the movement. And the ones that run, I paid him considerably more for. But by the time the math was all done, it was a very expensive day. But what I got, when I got back and I started looking at them, within probably 2.5 hours, I had 35 of them running. And you know what? It was it's such a great example of if you just keep your head in the game and you just keep plodding forward. One of the biggest problems that we have as human beings, in my humble opinion, is that it's so easy to complain about what's going on. And I'm terrible at it. I really am. Swiss Vape says, I broke my favorite watch. The force of gravity was special strong today. I can repair that watch. Have no fear. Swiss, we'll talk about it. I can repair that watch. If you dropped it, it can be repaired. I promise. Very often it looks like it can't. If it's been dropped and that's the problem, you broke a balance shaft, it can be replaced. No big deal, I promise. So we'll work on that. Brandon Taylor, Admiral, member for a month. I've had a great day. I'm glad, my friend. I really am. I'm glad. You've been killing it. You know what, peeps? When the lifeboat first got off the ground, one of the things that everybody used to talk about, it was just we would get 30 views because there just weren't that many people, on the boat. And we would get 30 views and we would get 75 comments, right? Because people were talking and encouraging one another. And then we went through this sort of down period. Vicky Brooks, so good to see you. And I'm glad that you found everyone again too. See, they're getting in. Perfect. What's up, Chuck? So we would get 30 or 40 views and sometimes up to 100 comments because everybody was always supporting one another and helping one another. And it was a big deal. It really was. And it was one of the things that propelled the boat early on. And then we went through this kind of down period where there was just a lot of hate. And I wasn't smart enough to not buy into it. I was a rookie YouTuber, and, I bought into hate, and we spent a lot of time just, me. I took away from the boat because I didn't know any better. Since then, I've learned quite a bit. But the morning videos, I said, it was hard doing them for 20 people. And just because it's usually the end of the night, and you're already tired and you want to go to bed. But when people get excited about it and people are watching the morning videos, it's worth doing. Today's morning video had about 120 or 130 views or something like that. But it's closing in on like 200 comments. And this is a recurring thing. The lifeboat these days is getting more comments than they are views anytime that there's a video, right? Not necessarily on the live feeds, obviously, but on the videos. And I want to thank everybody for that. Mr. Wolf, good to see you. Chi-Chi! Chi-Chi, awesome to see you. Yeah, you have a lifesaver. It really is humbling stuff, people. When there's that many people leaving comments, and we have that many people that are watching the videos, it's really a big deal. So this morning's video was called "I'm a Fool," and it was really a play on an email I got from somebody that really was it was not a very particularly friendly email, and the guy basically said, to do what you're doing, this is a recipe for you relapse, and you're a fool, and it was not particularly nice. Yeah, I agree with you. I really do. Unpredictable Tony says, ignore and block haters. You know what? Your opinion's solid. It's what I should have been doing back then, but I didn't know enough. And, being a guy that has been where I've been, right? You know what I mean? Where if somebody says something to you, you got to do something. There are certain words that people can't use and whatever. And they went after my family. They just did a lot of stuff, and I wasn't smart enough to realize that you give them a little bit, and they just keep coming, and you just ignore them. I'm sure they're still out there trashing me. I just don't ever look. So it's Schrodinger's troll is how I view it. But you're absolutely right. There's no two ways about it. You are absolutely right. So I get this email, and the gentleman says that I'm a fool for trying to do what I'm doing, and it's just a recipe for relapse. And I took it as a badge of honor that this guy called me a fool. So I did a video about it. And truth be told, I understand where the guy's coming from. I really do. He may not have worded it very nicely, but I understand what he's saying. Here's what he doesn't get. So if I were to, somebody else said to me the other day, do you think if you never did the lifeboat that you'd be using? Right? Because obviously I talk about sobriety so often. And if I have a problem, I come here and I tell 300 people about it. And then they respond back and so I'm never suffering alone. In fact, I'm never even hurting alone, right? I've got so many people that are there for me all the time. And they said, so are you, do you think you would have been sober had you not done the lifeboat? And you know what the answer to that question is, people? How would I know? Franklin, good to see you, my friend. There is no way for me to answer that question, is there? Because I'm doing the lifeboat and I'm sober. So I don't know. I'd like to believe I could have stayed sober without the lifeboat, but I don't know the answer to that. And that's what this guy missed. What this guy missed is this is such a huge part of my sobriety. If he thinks this is threatening my sobriety, he just really doesn't understand the concept of what we do, right? The basis of this channel is love. It really is. We used to say that the default setting should be Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi is one of those people that really is just one of the kindest people that you would ever want to meet. And as a person that sort of just exudes that feeling of love. And so you all lit this guy up this morning beautifully and nicely, but you lit this guy up. You all made comments based on, what this guy said right before I went live. Maybe 20 minutes before I went live, I got an email from this guy, and he apologized. Yeah, I have found, great comment, by the way. I have found the best way to not come back to what you lack control over is to stay away from it 24/7. Change your friends and find God. And for a lot of people, for me, that was key. Finding God was key for me. And for a lot of people, that is the case. And some people, go with a different route. But in terms of finding a higher power or believing in a higher power or whatever, and I don't, we don't bag on anybody for that. However, the staying away from it 24/7, getting away from the people, the places, the things, and the thoughts that you used to have is absolutely key. There's no mistaking it. That's so spot on, people. It's incredible. So I get an email from this gentleman, and he said, "Did you block me?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't block you. In all honesty, I didn't bother to even see if he was a subscriber." But I said, "No, I didn't block you." And he said, "Because I probably really phrased that wrong." I guarantee you, he read all of your comments. I guarantee that that's what happened, and I think that's great. That's when love can overcome hate. It really can. And sadly, that we did the show on social media, and we talked about that. And the algorithm picks up on so many different things, and whether it's this platform or any of the other ones that Mark named before he left, the algorithm picks up on how fast people click on something after they see it. Right? There's all these different things, and human nature is, if you read something that's frightening or disturbing. Hey, cemetery, glad you made it home in time to cook. Human nature is that if you see something that's disturbing, it's the car wreck on the side of the road phenomenon, right? You drive by and what do? You go, right? You can't help yourself. It's the same thing online. There's a ton of beautiful stories online. There's a ton of encouraging stuff online. There's a ton of people wanting to help one another on this entire platform, whether it's the big red button or just all the linked computers on the planet. There's so many kind people, but it's not what people click on fast, right? You seek it out. You got to go find it. So because of that, and because of the fact that now when you see something horrible, what do? You say, "Hey, you got to see this, right? This is awful." And I get it. I probably get 35 people that send something for me to check out every single day. And I always do, by the way. I check out everything you guys send. And I would say it's 80-20. That's 80% really bad news and 20% great news. Now, the thing is this. I need to hear the bad news. I'm not telling you to not do it because it's always stuff that is very relevant to the epidemic or the opioid crisis or anything like that, and I need to see it. But that's what happens. We amplify it, even if we don't mean to. We amplify it. So if there's something bad going on in the world, it's not an echo chamber, right? We used to think about it in terms of an echo chamber. It's an amplification chamber. It doesn't just, it's not just that you keep hearing the same things. You keep hearing it louder and louder and louder. Hold on, there are tons of artificial intelligence created video lately, like chat GPT stuff. Be careful out there. There is a ton of artificial intelligence created videos. You know what AI can't do? Honestly, what we're doing right now. And when that day comes, people, then, it'll probably be the end. But for the time being, human interaction is what they can't fake. They can write a term paper. They can do research for you. And I'm not going to lie to you, people. I do it. I don't do it for the lifeboat. I don't. But I do it for my watch business all the time. I use AI to pull up information on watches. I do it because they're awesome at it. It's a research machine. But if I want to buy a watch, Linda finds it. Because AI doesn't have the capability of knowing exactly what I want and being able to go and find that and do all of that. We're entering a time on this planet that's frightening. And at the same time, it's exciting. The truth of the matter is, and I did a show on this, right? This is the most evil thing on the planet. It really is. This is the number one drug in the world right now. This is it. The number one drug in the world. And it's a drug. It does exactly what other substances do, just does it differently. But this is a drug. On the flip side of that, and I don't want to ever come across as a guy that says, throw this thing away. It's also the most powerful tool in the world. And it's the most powerful tool for good. It really is. You want to know the perfect example, and I'm not tooting my horn here. I'm tooting your horn here. But the perfect example is the lifeboat, right? We have We've got people in Ireland. We've got people in Scotland. We've got people in Australia. We've got people in New Zealand. We've got people in Sweden. Boy, and I'm leaving out, I can't tell you how many countries, who all come together, right? All taking care of one another and loving one another. And that's incredible. I get what I need from this channel. I get what I need from an ex-drug user, but you're not medically trained to give medical advice. That's the only concern I have, and surely that's understandable. Absolutely, it's understandable. Nothing that I do can take away from you talking to a doctor, especially if you're talking about, if you're asking medical advice. I'm not the guy to take medical advice from. And you know what? Yeah, you didn't hurt my feelings with that at all. I completely get it. You're taking advice from someone who's talking to you. The advice I give is empirical. It's stuff that I lived through. It's now I have probably gone through just about every drug course on the planet, and the reason that there is a lifeboat is because I found them wanting in a really big way. The techniques, so to speak, the way that they deal with people who are hurting and people who are addicted. You could teach somebody all the sort of the nuts and bolts of it. You can teach them the science behind it. What really becomes difficult for a lot of them is to not feel as if the judgmental thing, really becomes an issue. It works really well when the people that you're talking to don't judge you, because I think that judgmental people probably are one of the most dangerous things in the entire world. Correct, Chi-Chi. The advice given here is life experience. And it's also anywhere you go where you're going to do group therapy, right? When you go to AA or you go to NA or you go to any of those, you're never going to be talking to a doctor, right? You're always going to be looking at sort of peer-to-peer counseling. And I can say, without any kind of doubt, that when left to their own devices, the medical community said this can't be treated, right? That was the gold standard in the medical community. I've said this so many times on the boat. It's one of those things that the physician's desk reference in the 30s said if a person is an alcoholic, they didn't even talk much about drug addicts back then because I don't think it wasn't a big enough issue, right? It was so closeted. It was not such an issue that people really talked about it a lot. But alcohol abuse and addiction was rampant. And they said, keep them away from firearms and machinery, right? Do everything you can to make sure that their habit doesn't hurt others because there is no way to treat it. That was the response. There is no way to treat it. And then two individuals got together and one said to the other, literally, the Church of England is changing the Lord's Prayer to be gender neutral. They're changing it to take away Our Father. Wow. We really need gender neutral. So important, isn't it? I mean, that's holy hell in a handbasket. Anyway, two individuals got together and one said to the other, I can't quit. I don't have it in me. There's no way that I can stop myself from drinking. I'm going to drink tomorrow. I drink every day. I can't stop. There's no hope. And the person said, you keep me from drinking tomorrow. Sam Smith tweeted about his satanic performance. CBS replied to tweet with, we are ready to worship. Sponsored by Pfizer. You know what? It's hard to wrap your brain around. It really is. And these are the same people that say words hurt people. Right? Words are weapons. Words are violence. So I got a question to ask everyone. So yeah, I agree with you, Christopher, 100%. I am absolutely not a doctor. And I would consult with a doctor on anything that you have concerns over. I really would. And we encourage people, especially if the substance that you are quitting is alcohol or if it's benzodiazepines, because cold turkey quitting either of those substances can kill you. So you should absolutely talk to a doctor, especially if you feel that it's somebody that you can trust. Dubious, I love that. I absolutely love that. I really do. So I got a couple of things that I need to ask you guys, and this is one of the reasons that it's off script Wednesday, because here's the deal. So last night I did a video, and when I was done, so I finish filming here at 6:00 on the Pacific time zone, right? West Coast time. At 6:00 I'm done. And all of a sudden, you can look at the numbers, not in terms of views, but in terms of subscribers. And last night ran off 4. Immediately after the show was over, we had lost 4 subscribers. Within an hour, we had lost 3 more. So I lost 7 subscribers within the first about hour and 15 minutes. Hey, Steve T, good to see you. Welcome to the boat. I quit everything in my life through God. Nothing on this planet is better, not even a doctor to me. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I'm not going to argue with you on that at all. I wouldn't be here without my faith. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be sober. So there's no argument here. Chi-Chi, you forgot to hit like? Well, get out there and do it. That's not your style. So it was a political show. And I don't come on here and say, hey, I'm a Democrat and those Republicans suck. And I don't come on here and say, hey, I'm a Republican and those Democrats suck. That's not what I do. But from the very first show, I said, if the two subject matters cross each other's path, then there's no way that I can avoid it. And most assuredly, with the Fent crisis, there's no way that politics can be not brought up. ZW, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Zenwin, thank you. Great comments this morning too, ZW. I mean that. You know what? Here's the thing, Chuck. Truthfully, we have that disclaimer at the beginning. It's just that when my bobbleheaded partner left, we stopped running it. It will be up next week. So you're absolutely right. And they're out there. Make no mistake, they're out there. So yesterday was a political show, and doing a political show is going to frost people. People enjoy being offended today. It's become trendy. You know what? There's a lot of truth to that. Oh, and Vicky Brooks says, Captain Tommy, YouTube could drop subs because it was political, unless you know otherwise. Well, here's the deal. One of the things I was going to say is check and see if you're still subbed. Because a bunch of people said to me, well, no, Mark's not gone, and we just don't, he isn't doing this currently. He's got some stuff going on with his family. Mark's always a part of the lifeboat and always will be. But since he's not, like right now, I would say on the other side of the glass is my bobbleheaded partner, Mark Wages, and for the last 2 weeks he has not been. Correct, Monk. Well played. Hey, thank you, Christopher. Appreciate you. And it's a pound, people. I always, the pound thing always makes me laugh. I appreciate you, Christopher. I really do. So, I don't like doing the politics shows. I don't. That's the truth. Now, when they're over, I get some hate mail. It's just part of the deal. But the amount of hate mail I get anyway, right? It's just, this is, because of the subject matter, there's always going to be people that don't like me, right? So I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with that. And we get the occasional death threat. There used to be a daily death threats. So the occasional one doesn't bother me much either. However, I also get a bunch of people, I would say probably 60-40. No, I would say probably 80-20. I get a bunch of people who say, you need to do more shows like you just did. And I don't want this to be every other show out there. I don't want it to be a political show, right? Because we have a mission, and our mission's been pretty clearly defined. However, there are times I'm going to have to talk about it. I am not talking about last night's State of the Union. And boy, could I talk about last night's State of the Union. But I'm not doing that. So here's my question, people. Send me an email. Send me an email and tell me what you think about the whole political thing. If you would like to never hear anything on this channel again, if you would like to never hear me comment when I know they're screwing up, then send it to me. Johnny, yeah, I feel your pain. Sarah, normally, good to see you. I'm glad to see you, Sarah. I always love it when you're here. So yeah, send me an email and just tell me what you think about the political shows. And you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you say, look, dude, I don't ever want to see these again, I get it. If you say, hey, I think you ought to do it anytime it really affects what we're talking about, and I know some of you are going to want to say it right now, but I would like to count up the two of them. I get the cool seat, right? I get to sit here, but what's made this channel special, and I think it is that, you guys named the boat. You guys took every single thing that we've made a decision on since this started. You thought that the number of Fent deaths was incorrect. Do you mean on my show or on last night's deal? Oh, no, Chris. Chris, I just laughed because of the pound symbol. I remember exactly, and you're wrong. You sent 40. You sent 2 20s in one show. I absolutely remember your donations, brother. The pound thing makes me laugh because of the pound sign, not because you donated one of them, brother. Like, this is the lifeboat. If somebody donates 50 cents, it's going to keep somebody from doing dope. I don't laugh at dollar amounts. I laugh at the pound sign because we don't see it in this country. Everything that goes up there looks like an S with 2 lines through it. It's the sterling that I was laughing at, not the amount. I don't laugh at amounts, man. Come on. Seriously, Chris, I'm not that guy. Yeah. Yes, Vicky, I really do want another email from you. I would like to know exactly what you guys think, because this is a decision that I'm not going to make, right? You guys are going to make it. And if it's one of those things that, you don't, want that to go. Noise Opera says, me too, Captain. I didn't understand the pound sign. Well, the British sterling, right? Because it looks odd when it comes in because most of the stuff that you see is from the U.S. So whenever it goes up, and it's Chris is not the only one that we see the British pound from. So, but every time it does pop up, it just tickles me. It sort of hammers home the whole international show thing. It really does. Full of Hope is the other one that you always see that is done in pound amounts, and I get a kick out of it. Yeah, I assure you, my brother, I was not laughing at the dollar amount that you sent. I'm thankful for everything that people do to help people get into medical assisted treatment, and everything helps. You've been more than generous. I assure you that's not what I was talking about. You know what, JJ? And truthfully, I appreciate that. I really do. I want everybody to be honest. I don't like the politics thing either. And the reason I'm asking is this. When I got to do a politics show, because there is going to be times, peeps, that I don't have a choice. I really, really will not have a choice, right? When they start to make decisions that, yesterday, and I'm not going to do a politics show, I promise you, but yesterday they had a hearing about this, and they had an opportunity to get something done. Like, they had a massive opportunity to get something done, and it wasn't at all possible. Cindy Party, thank you so much, Cindy. Appreciate you. Cindy also left a couple of really beautiful, the comments that you guys are turning in are just amazing. I used to turn my dollars into pounds. Who was that? That was Tommy Bird says, I used to turn my dollars into pounds in a different way. You know what? Me too. I think I used to turn mine into grams. But yeah, same over the course of the life, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. But they had an opportunity yesterday to do something. And then when you sit and watch it and you realize that it's wordplay, right? It's just word games. They honestly do not care about anything that's going on. And sadly, what I'd love to do is come on here and say to you, for those of you who have any interest whatsoever in what's going on at the southern border, and if they're doing anything to fight this crisis, hey, Rick, good to see you. I think the best case scenario is I could send you, and you go to this channel right now. They just did a great thing on it, and they're talking about all of the hypocrisy and all of the BS and all of that. I don't know where to send you, right? There's nobody that's really attacking this thing the way that, and I mean, you'll see one every once in a while. there was a great show that was done by Rudy, Alaska Prepper, did a great show on this. But the shows are few and far in between, and you really got to kind of hunt. And so I'm really tempted to not do them here ever again. Unfortunately, it has to be done. So if I got to do it somewhere else, I'm not adverse to that. If that's what it comes to, I am not at all adverse to maybe having to do this someplace else. A substance abuse levy for 1. Oh, you mean it like a tax? The King County, the most populated county in Washington State, is doing a substance abuse tax for $1.3 billion in April. Is that what you mean? Because that would be, and again, I'm not doing politics. I promise you that's not what's happening right now. But it's, to me, the money, unfortunately, it's not that they're not throwing enough money at it. Truthfully, there's enough cash getting thrown at this thing to fix 40 problems. The vast majority of it's not even being used. There is a problem, right? The money is not being used to do anything. And that becomes a real kind of an issue, right? It's, thanks, Chichi. 14.5 cents per 1,000. You know what, Monk? I really like that response too. That's a beautiful thing to say, because you're right. Sometimes the boat does go in directions that are just completely different. You know what I mean? And there's not always. It's kind of unpredictable. Cultivate kindness. I'm sober, but I don't know about stable. Yeah, well, me either. I think it's paying for the politicians to not do anything. Well, there's probably something to be said for that too, right? You're doing a great thing here. I wish my mother would have had support like this. She could not stay sober because this world sucks a box of socks. I'm sorry to hear that she passed, and I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but I've never heard the term sucks a box of socks. I absolutely love that. I'm really sorry for your loss. And you know what? There are, it really has been, I hear this so often, I really do. I hear this so often. Full of hope. The major got blocked, right? We had a show, and we had asked him very specifically to not bring up a subject matter. And he did, and the boat blocked him. And we had said, the next time this happens, we're going to block you. And it was a very uncomfortable thing. The guy had been on the boat a long time, but you just can't make shows debates. I don't have a problem debating people. I really don't. What I have a problem with is debating the same subject every single time the guy comes on the show. It takes away from what we're trying to do. And he hasn't reached out. If the guy reached out and said, hey, let me explain or anything else, I reached out to him, but I haven't heard anything back. Never heard sucks a box of socks, but I'm going to use that the same day. Reminds me when my grandpa said if I could show him a picture of Lincoln without a beard, that he would boil his shirt and eat it. I don't know that I've ever seen anything without a beard, him without a beard either. Yeah, that's where the major went. He was blocked by one of the Blue Wrenches, and I will support what they did. There was we had a discussion on exactly what was going to happen. We just can't we can't allow that to run rampant anytime somebody wants to disrupt the show. We really and it's like somebody said earlier. You know what? You can't have it, right? You get rid of it, and it hurts me. But I haven't seen him anywhere else either. I haven't seen him on any of the other platforms that I usually run into him on, so I'm not sure. Miss B is a very distant relative of Lincoln. I don't know why, but that doesn't surprise me. Honestly, I'm not sure why, but that does not surprise me. Thank you, Zen Wen. I appreciate it. And it was an uncomfortable thing. I hate that. I hate all of that aspect of it, but it is part of the way that goes. Thank you, Buddha. I appreciate that. Oh, phones getting repaired. That's awful. You know what? I look at phones. I realize that watches are a complex thing, but they have gears in like their hardware. The people that work on phones, because the guy said to me, "Man, if you could fix a watch, you could fix a phone." I can't even work a phone. You know what I mean? The technology end of things is just not really in my wheelhouse in any way, shape, or form. It's just not. But so because of last night's show, there was no way I was going to not. I was going to film a video and do a video tonight. And instead of coming and doing it live, I would have shot a video. Yeah, I can't stand cell phones either, man. Whoa, did you hear this, people? Unpredictable Tony says, I can't stand cell phones in general. I average 11 minutes a week screen time on it. Honestly, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you, Tommy Bird. I appreciate that. Wow. Tony, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Whew. That's impressive stuff. I would love to have a watch like White Rabbit's, but one that plays music. You know what? Do you mean the White Rabbit on Alice in Wonderland? Because that watch exists. It really does. There is a pocket watch that absolutely plays music, and it does it without any gears or anything else. It's all hammers that strike little tones inside. It's like a xylophone that works on a second winding. So there's two main springs. It is the absolute most expensive thing on the planet. I mean, honestly, you want a watch that's going to cost you a lot of money. The last one that came up for sale, it's called a Grand Sonnerie, and it's Patek Philippe makes it. And the last Grand Sonnerie that came up at auction sold for $16 million. Yeesh, right? So unfortunately, I will not be able to get you one for Christmas. And if you win the contest here on the Lifeboat, because we are having a contest in the month of February, I will be announcing it like this show right now, right? I would say, okay, the video I did titled whatever, go find the name Tommy in the thumbnail, be the first person to email that to such and such an email, and you are the winner of a watch. But you're not going to get a Grand Sonnerie. Sorry, can't do it. I cannot do it. I have broken so many phones. You should become a member of Daughters of the Union Veterans. My grandmother was president for many years. Wow, how cool is that? I love the whole history thing. That's right, Brandon Taylor. We will not be giving out any Rolexes, but we will be giving out a vintage watch. Yeah. Yeah, the Grand Sonnerie, though, it does actually play tunes. I have not owned a TV in 12 years. Have not watched a show series since that 70s show ended. I have a pocket chain, but no watch. The local auction, they are all broken. Full of hope. I just acquired more pocket watches than anyone on the planet, so we'll have to work something out. Unpredictable Tony says, I have not watched a movie since 2009. I have not watched, correct. I don't know if the spelling of that is right, but it is Grand Sonnerie, yeah. I have not watched a film since 2015. That was the last movie I watched, was 2015. I do not watch television. I will listen to television. So if there's something on that is, that's news or something else, I will allow it to play while I don't like silence, right? I have a real issue. We've talked about this on the boat before, but I really, really have an issue with silence. Unpredictable Tony studies the Bible and eats hot stuff 2 for 2. My brother would get along beautifully with you. You know what, Buddha? Here's the thing. I really was a fan of film. I really was. I was a big fan of film. Mine started out medical, right? I just get, and I've said this before on the boat, but we get a lot of new people. So when you edit a film, you film a segment, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you edit the next scene, right? So all of a sudden you're, the two characters are talking in an apartment about, we got to go to Miami. The next scene, they're going into the airport, right? Then the next scene, they're sitting on a plane. And then the next scene, they're getting off the plane or whatever the case may be, right? modern movies have shortened the amount of time between each edit. So what it comes down to is you're getting like 2 seconds of film, and then it changes the position. So you go 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. My brain can't do it. You know, the head injury, or I don't know what you call it, or what you call I know what I have, right? I have cerebral infarction, but I don't know what that falls under. But the brain injury that I have makes it so that if I watch that, within 3 minutes, 4 minutes, I get a headache, and it's a bad one. And they don't go away as fast as they come on. So, and at first I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just thought I was developing migraines or whatever. And then after speaking with the doctor, who said to me, you know what, don't watch any TV and see what happens. And, that was it. And then I sort of tested it again once or twice. And then just recently somebody said to me, you just have to watch the trailer of this, right? It's not going to be the whole thing. It won't bother you. And it's, it just, tinnitus. You know what, Shimmy? Shimmy, drop me an email at sober@myyahoo.com. I have another crew member on the boat, and I have not seen them today, but I would like to ask them permission to put the two of you together. NYPD Blue, really fast editing to be sure. Because there's a crew member on the boat that has tinnitus and has had it for a really long time, and I guess just recently they went and saw a doctor who is really like, this is all they do. And whatever they did, after 20 some odd years, this was cured. And it was the happiest person in the entire world. I got an email that took me about 20 minutes. Greg F., good to see you, Greg. Greg, I hope you're feeling better. You've been in my prayers, man. I hope you're feeling better. Hope everything is, I hope everything's going well. But this person, it took me so long to read the email. They were just beside themselves happy because of the tinnitus thing being gone. It's people, if you don't know what that is, it's like a permanent nonstop ringing in the ears, and it's enough to drive people nuts. It's really one of those just awful things to have to endure. Yeah, Greg F., man, really glad that you're here. It's good to see you. I have a feeling that Greg's probably here more often than we know. It's just that he's had some issues with because of the C+ math. When he was healing up from that, he had some eye issues that kept him from commenting as often. So, but glad that you're here. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk to this individual and find out exactly what he was doing. If you guys want that information, go ahead and send me an email on to the sober@myyahoo.com, and I will get what he has. And Sarah, thank you. You know what? I appreciate all of you being here for me. True story. White noise worked for me. Oh, okay. So you're using a hearing aid that generates white noise. For those that don't know, Swiss Vape was in combat, so I'm going to go let Quinny out to PP and get ready for bed. Chi-Chi, I'm really glad that you were here. God bless you. Take care. I have ringing in my ears. Doctor says it's due to arthritis from aging. That's great, because I already have arthritis. One more thing to look forward to. Yeah, good night, Chi-Chi. Much love. Just a kind person. Really, really kind person. And they're at a time when there were just a handful of people that still wanted to support the lifeboat and what we were doing. Leisure, good to see you, bud. Chi-Chi has been just a really solid crew member for a really long time. I love Chi-Chi. And she and Linda were born on the exact same day. So that's literally same day, same year, just different parts of the world. Hey, Lemmy, good to see you. Virginia, good to see you. Boy, you know what? The gang is all here on Wednesday night. See? Glad that I went live. I was going to do this canned, but when you have to talk about politics, I don't like then not being here the next night. I wanted to make sure that, so I didn't finish this story. Go figure. Squirreled right off. So last night we had lost 7 people, right, from the politics show, which is pretty common, honestly. Oh, good, Leisure. I hope it went well, bud. I really hope it went well. Oh, wow. You know what? Don't think anybody got my birthday. 9/6 of 66. I know someone who is 7/6 of 66. Yep, know somebody that's July 6th of 1966. Heather, you have tinnitus as well? Good, then I need to get something put together. So, as I was saying, prior to squirreling off, which I did again, right? Again, I squirreled off. Yes, thank you. See that? There's my brother. Focus, you lost 7 people. So, I lost 7 people. And right before I went live tonight, I thought I would check to see if I had lost anybody else. The number was back plus 7 more, and it leaves you kind of wondering if, are we losing or are we benefiting by doing the occasional show that talks about what this crisis is doing to the country. And that's why I would like all of you to kind of weigh in on it. And I do want everybody to check and make sure you're still subscribed. I had no less than 4 emails today from people who said, my subscriptions were bumped and so were my notifications. And not just here. That I would say, well, it's because I did a show beating on the beast from the east. That's liable to happen. But these people had been kicked off of other subscriptions, not just the Lifeboat. So do check and see to make sure that you're still subscribed and that you're still getting the bell for notification. And if you're watching and you have not subscribed to the Lifeboat, why? You know what I mean? We're a pretty big family here. So that would be great. That's common. Been happening to the bus for almost 7 years. Good Lord, 7 years you've been doing this? Man. Thank you, Conky Dong. That means the world to me. The shows have all been acceptable to me. Thank you, Just Ruth. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the comments, too. Great comments from Just Ruth. Really, really beautiful stuff. Trish Killian! Good to see you, Trish. I think they do too, Vicky. I'm not 100%. You said nothing wrong. You had the facts and research. I love the show. 100% spot on. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. I really appreciate that. Truthfully, I do. Thank you, Barbara. You know what's fun about shows like this? Honestly, what really makes shows like this great is when you watch them, they're awesome. But if you don't catch them live, you just get me talking to screens and people are like, who is he talking to? You sort of got to catch it the following night so you can burn the dead wood. Yee! Shimmy. I have said similar things. I really have. Family Landscape Company, thank you very much. You're leading the boat great, Skipper. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I truthfully do. Your birthday is 7/7/72. Mine is 7/3. So we're pretty close. And I got a brother that's 7/6. And I got a sister that's 7/31. We had a family that was just deep in July. Really, really deep. Tacos are done. Good. Did you bring enough for the entire crew? Because if you didn't, I don't think you should be talking about tacos. Bad form. Bad form. 83. Swiss Vape. Rub that in. I'm born in July, says the Noise Opera. You know what? Here's the thing. So there's been some studies, and there was actually a pretty funny song written about it for a musical called Kiss Me Kate. It was a musical that was based on The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare. And there's a song in there called Too Darn Hot. And they talk about how, according to the Kinsey Report, which was that huge first study ever, the first big study ever done on sex, no good on board if not enough for crew. That's right. See that? Happy birthday, Chris. I missed that. Happy birthday. That's awesome. So they talk about, in the Kinsey Report, they talked about how people are more likely to spend time together intimately when it gets cold. So where we grew up in the Northeast, it gets absolutely brutally cold. So now I know I'm old enough to be everybody's mom. 8/10/51. My youngest was born 8/19/75. Thanks, Captain and Zenwen. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here, Chris. True story. Tommy is down with Vegemite tacos. You know what, people? Last night I actually had to watch the video that I did on with my brother eating sustroming. Right? If you haven't seen that video, it's disgusting. We ate this terrible fish called sustroming. You can see it if you scroll down. I'll have a look on my face like I'm vomiting. Yeah, that'd be that video. I would much rather, honestly, I think it's a toss-up for me. Vegemite is just so disgusting. To me, it tastes like somebody crushed up a bunch of aspirin and then kind of made it into a spread. I need to find out what Vegemite is. No, you don't. And if you do, don't blame it on me. Do not blame that on me. Joanna W. says the sustroming video is hilarious. It's hilarious for everybody but me. That's Vegemite is like licking shoe leather. Lemmy's had it. Yep, there's proof right there. Lemmy has had shoe leather. The Swiss Vapor says, I love sustroming. But as we have talked about, the man did a lot of drugs, right? And, a few shots to the head. You know what I mean? Like, that might make sense. My brother says, we can laugh about it now. No, we can't. I'm telling you, I am still scarred by that. I am scarred by that. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, your husband may be laughing, but if he tried it, then he, seriously, if any of you stinky tofu or 1,000-year-old duck eggs, you know something? I'm pretty sure my brother's done both. Johnny, how does the sustroming match up to that 1,000-year-old duck egg? Because I know you did one or two of those. That was my intro to the captain, says Brandon Taylor. You know how many people have said that? That's actually how I met Lady Fiona Crispin. Was through that. So the video paid off because I did find Linda that way, which was a payoff. But I opened that tin can submerged in a bucket of water. Yes. Oh, I want to tell you something too. I'm going to find out where it is. Okay? So that I can tell you people to go there. Because I have been told numerous times, people will say, the duck eggs are a delicacy compared to sustroming. I believe that. Nothing could taste as bad as sustroming. There is a video out there. Somebody said to me, you guys did my birthday is 1/14/56. I'm 67 years tender age senior, and I got sober May 9th, 1991. 32 years sober. Amen. Barbara, that is the coolest thing said all night. Hats off. Barbara Mosley, people, 32 years sober. How cool is that? Man, that's awesome. I'm not kidding. That is awesome. That is absolutely the coolest thing that I have heard all night long. Congratulations. That is awesome. Yes, they do have a bit of a duck fetus inside that egg, which is foul, but it gave me a rush too, man. That is an endorphin dump, right? It really is. That's, there's dopamine cruising through when you hear that. Barbara, I love that. Yeah, we can put some ones up for that. No two ways about it. That is deserving. Oh, is that deserving? I'm even gonna get on here and so I can toss up a lifeboat one, because boy, is that one worth it. So somebody has said to me on numerous occasions that the funniest sustroming video ever done was the Scoville brothers. I get that all the time, right? I really do. And I know it's funny because, Johnny and I we cut up most of the time anyway. And when there's something that gross involved, it made for a very funny video. It's not the funniest sustroming video by a long stretch. I saw the funniest sustroming video. Unfortunately, I can no longer find it. So I will get Lady Crispin to tell us exactly where it is. Oh, that's balut from the Philippines. Aha. I knew, if there's something disgusting out there, my brother's had it. That's kind of how he rolls. But there's a Systroming video that a guy filmed where he opened the can in his car. Yeah. And there was no bucket of water, nothing like that, Swiss Vape. This guy cranks it like he's doing tuna fish in his car. And it does just exactly what you think it's going to do. It just, the car's destroyed. And it sprayed all over the inside of the car. And when it happened, I was watching it with Lady Crispin. We were, as I said, I'm half Filipino, says Swiss Vape. So we were watching it. Lady Crispin and I were watching it together. And again, I just was laughing so hard. And she said to me, do you have any idea how hard that's going to be to clean? And I said, yes, you've never had Systroming. You can't clean that. Like that's one of those things that somewhere right now, someone's on a lot and they're like, see that car over there? Yeah, what do you want for that one? $75. What? And then they open the door and go, yeah, I'm good. It's like the Seinfeld episode. I mean, there's no way you're getting the smell out of that car unless you set it on fire. I promise you, people, that's what you're looking at. You would have to burn that car, right? You might be able to salvage the engine. Well, you know something? So my brother says, the Balut video is on my channel. Please know it was a year before I got sober and I had a few that night. I don't, you know how I feel about using and but I don't know how you could possibly eat any of that stuff if you hadn't have had one. Have you seen the video of the guy taking big rips? Oh yeah, B-rips off of a Carolina Reaper in his car. I have actually seen that. Someone that's using a bong to actually, that's just a really, really stupid person looking out for some views. And you know what? God bless you if you can. That is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Just dumb all the way around. Dumb all the way around. Oh, I have. Yeah, I've seen it. But, and you know what? I'm confused. That, people, believe it or not, that's a watch. That is to make sure that I didn't go long because I didn't have a script. And that's a wristwatch. No battery in that. Is that loud or what? So that is an alarm wristwatch that is older than everybody on the boat. How's that? Truthfully. Yeah, that was a watch. What was that? That watch is possessed. No, this is an alarm watch. So a horrible noise. It doesn't sound as bad, Stacy, when it's on your wrist, right? This was just lying on the table. When it's on your wrist, my mom made butter using a mixer. So when it's on your wrist, the sound wouldn't nearly be as bad. But look, before batteries, you still had to have an alarm, right? So that's what that is. So I would like to thank everybody for coming on a Wednesday night. This was a fun show. Kind of let the hair down, so to speak. That was obnoxious, says Family Landscape Company. Well, truly, but it wasn't. I promise you, if this were strapped down to a wrist, it would not sound. I heard that from across the room, and I'm deaf in one ear. Oh, that's great. And we are having fun. We are having fun. But the big red button gets all bummed out when I go. If it were on the wrist, it would have made a lot less noise. It's more of like a. Let's see here. I might not be able to activate it while it's on there. No, because then you're going to pick on it anyway. See that? It's not nearly as obnoxious, is it? Right? Not nearly as bad. Let me see something here. I saw something from... Oh, Buddha, that is horrible. That is horrible. And you know something? I will... A dying fly. Now, that's just mean. It's just mean. It's a perfect alarm watch. That's what they all sound like. Except this is a little bit louder than... Sounds like a bumblebee in heat. See that? Now everybody's just piling on. Bad. Sounds like a shaver. Okay, I'm done with you people. That's it. You have insulted my watch the last time. Good night to anyone leaving. Yeah, that would be me. Please keep me in your prayers because my beloved husband passed away last year, May 10th, 2022, and I'm going through the paid sober 100%. Amen. Barbara, reach out, please. I will keep you in my prayers. I know everyone else will as well, but if you're feeling like you're suffering, don't do it in silence. Please reach out to me. Cemetery? You better, you better. All right, peeps. That's it. Somebody put Limburger cheese and canned peaches and peppers in our car during the wedding reception. What kind of sickos did you hang out with? That's not what you do during a wedding reception. You tie cans to the bumper. See the now, everybody. Stacy Michaels, thank you so much. I love it. I really do. I absolutely love it. People, if you're seeing this for the first time and for whatever reason, right, you're still in the game and you're still using or whatever, now, right? Do it now. Now's the time. Tonight was fun. But you know what? If you're still in the life, keep coming back. Right? We don't kick people out for that. But it would be a really good idea if now, right, you start looking to make a change. Life is better sober. I'm sorry. I know there was a time where you could not have made me believe that. But it was 1970. Wow, my turn. You pick on my watch? That was the year I was born. We'll pay back. All right, peeps. I will be back tomorrow night. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. It's probably going to be a video, but it'll be here. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. Between now and the next time we see each other, reach out and try to save somebody, okay? That is a cat in a throne. It's still a basket, but look how happy she is. Where are you at, squirrel? Hey, he's a good kitty. She's really not a lazy cat. She only sleeps while we're doing the boat. Good night, everybody. We love you.